Welcome to the Daily Bite. I'm your host, Pastor Steve Andrews. Our reading today from Isaiah chapter 39 is short, but we can't call it short and sweet. This is a sad chapter. At that time, Merodach Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent envoys with letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he heard that he had been sick and had recovered. And Hezekiah welcomed them gladly, and he showed them his treasure house, the silver, the gold, the spices, the precious oil, his whole armory, all that was found in his storehouses. There was nothing in his house or in all his realm that Hezekiah did not show them. Then Isaiah the prophet came to King Hezekiah and said to him, "What did these men say? And from where did they come to you?" Hezekiah said, "They have come to me from a far country, from Babylon." He said, "What have they seen in your house?" Hezekiah answered, "They have seen all that is in my house. There is nothing in my storehouses that I did not show them." And Isaiah said to Hezekiah, "Hear the word of Yahweh of hosts. Behold, the days are coming when all that is in your house and that which your fathers have stored up to this day shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, says Yahweh. And some of your own sons who will come from you, whom you will father, shall be taken away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon." And Hezekiah said to Isaiah, "The word of Yahweh that you have spoken is good." For he thought, "There will be peace and security in my days." This is the word of the Lord. Again, this is a sad chapter. So it begins with the introduction to a new person that we haven't met before. The king of Babylon is not one who's really been introduced to us in the text. We've talked a lot more about Assyria because of the time period in which Isaiah has been working. Babylon itself hasn't been as much of a threat as Assyria has been up to this point. Now, Babylon is ultimately the one who gets to destroy, bring judgment upon God's people of Judah. And this plays into it. So the Babylonian king, Merodach Baladan, sends sends envoys, so messengers. He sends letters and a present. We don't hear what the present is here in this text, to Hezekiah. So he's heard that a foreign nation, also being oppressed by Assyria, as Babylon was at the time, he's heard that a foreign nation has seen their ruler sick, but that he's recovered. And so he sends a gift. The intention here, hard to say. Obviously, Isaiah does not reveal that to us. It could simply be seeking an alliance with another nation. It could simply be even smaller than that, just really a token of good favor, looking for friendship among men. Or it could be more of a plot, as a plot to spy out another kingdom for the sake of and hope of finding places that he wanted to conquer. We can't really say from the text at hand. It's going to be a while before Babylon will come to conquer Judah, though. So, it's, again, hard to say. Now, in verse 2, here's one of the questions in the chapter to discuss as a family. Why would Hezekiah show all of his stuff to the Babylonian envoys? I mean, what's the point of doing that? When we stop to think about it and really look at it, that becomes a conversation around pride. Hezekiah is proud of all that he has. He's boasting. He's boasting in his stuff, his earthly possessions. And as we learn in this short chapter, that's going to help lead to the downfall of his kingdom. So, not good to do this, not good to boast, not good to show off and brag. God's people have been called to be humble. And that's true of us in the New Testament Christian church today as well. We are called to humility, not to bragging like this. So bear that in mind. Have that conversation together. Then we get the interaction between Isaiah and Hezekiah, the back and forth. Isaiah is asking the questions of just what exactly happened. with these messengers? What have they seen? Hezekiah answers truthfully to those things. And then Isaiah speaks the prophecy from the Lord in verse 6 that Babylon is going to conquer Judah, that they are going to come and they are going to take everything. All the treasures of the land of Judah will be carried off into the land of Babylon. And that's not just what we would consider the worldly treasures. God's people are included in this. God's people are a treasure, his treasured possession, and they are going to be carried off into Babylon. Nothing shall be left, says Yahweh. And even the temple itself is destroyed. The Babylonians tear it down. I mean, the modern day estimate of Solomon's temple was that it probably is about $2 billion worth of gold in our currency today. That's a lot of wealth. You can imagine the Babylonian army wanting to take some of that for themselves, the spoils of war. It's a lot of gold, a lot of wealth, a lot of riches for those soldiers. So we see that here. Verse 7 makes it personal that they will carry off Hezekiah's own children, and they will even make them eunuchs. That's a strong and a harsh word against Hezekiah's family tree. That will severely limit his ability to have grandchildren. It's more than just making them servants in the Babylonian king's house that renders them unable to have a family of their own. And really, the most telling of all of this is Hezekiah's response to it all. That's what really makes the text sad. He doesn't care. In fact, more than that, his response to Isaiah the prophet is that the word of Yahweh that you have spoken is good. God has just prophesied, spoken the destruction of Hezekiah's kingdom, even of his own family. And Hezekiah's response? At least it's not going to happen in my day. What kind of a king is this? He shows here that he truly, really only cares about himself. That's the difficulty of this text. That's the sorrow of this text. And so, as a conversation point in our families, this question here could be: Can God's people, can the people of Judah really trust him? Can they really trust their earthly king Hezekiah after he said something like that? And the answer to that is no. I mean, ultimately, yes, he is still the servant of Yahweh, but he has tipped his hand here that he is still sinful and selfish and only really cares about himself. And this just goes to show the overall theme that runs through the Old Testament, runs even into the New Testament, and that is that only God is truly faithful. Only God is our true King who cares for us by even laying down his own life for us. So that's the conversation turning itself to Jesus in our homes as he cares for us by his death and his resurrection, but also by his eternal reign from the heavenly throne.